It worked in mice. Worked in mice.
Welcome back to It Worked in Mice, the show where we look at the latest health headlines and wonder if they'll ever leave the lab. I'm Piper.
And I'm Alex. And I'm still waiting for that pill that gives me a perfect memory and a six-pack. Any news on that one, Piper?
Not this week, Alex, but I do have a story that's almost as cool. Researchers in Japan have developed an AI that might be able to detect a serious disease just by looking at a photo of your hand.
My hand? What's it going to tell me? That my lifeline is suspiciously short and I spend too much time scrolling on my phone?
Not quite. It's looking for signs of a rare hormonal disorder called acromegaly. It's caused by the body producing too much growth hormone, and it leads to things like enlarged hands and feet and changes in your facial features.
Okay, so if my gloves suddenly don't fit, I should be worried. But if it changes your face, why not just use a facial recognition AI? Seems more direct.
That's the clever part. They specifically avoided that because of privacy concerns. A lot of people are uncomfortable having their facial data stored, and for good reason. So the researchers at Kobe University decided to focus on the hands, which doctors examined for this anyway. They trained the AI on over 11,000 images.
I'll admit that is pretty smart, bypassing the whole privacy minefield. But how serious is this what's it called?
Acromegaly, and it's very serious. The problem is that it develops incredibly slowly over many years. Because the changes are so gradual, it can take up to a decade to get a proper diagnosis. And if it goes untreated, it can shorten a person's life expectancy by about 10 years.
A decade? That's a huge diagnostic delay. So the idea is that you could, upload a photo of your fist to an app and it would flag a potential problem years earlier than a doctor might?
Exactly. Think of it as an early warning system. It's not a diagnosis, but it could prompt someone to see a specialist much, much sooner. They even made sure to only use pictures of the back of the hand and a clenched fist, avoiding the palm, because palm lines are so unique they could potentially be used to identify someone.
They really thought the privacy angle through. Okay, I'm less cynical about this one. It's a clever solution to a real problem. But I stand by my rule. I'll believe it when my doctor asks me to make a fist for his tablet instead of telling me to turn my head and cough.
It's a step in the right direction. And speaking of steps in the right direction, how about we move from our hands to our heads to the brain?
My favorite topic. Is this the part where they tell us a crossword puzzle a day will make me a genius? Because I've tried and I'm still stuck on a three-letter word for a domestic animal.
Even better, scientists may have just found the brain's hidden defense system against Alzheimer's disease.
A hidden defense system? Like a tiny security guard in my neurons? Is he asleep on the job? Because I definitely forgot where I put my keys this morning.
He might just be overwhelmed. This study, published in the journal Cell, found out why some brain cells are more resistant to Alzheimer's damage than others. It turns out they have a better natural cleanup system.
A cleanup system? So my brain is supposed to have its own little garbage disposal?
That's a perfect analogy. In diseases like Alzheimer's, a protein called tau starts to build up in the brain. You can think of it like sticky notes. A few are fine, but when they start clumping together everywhere, they gum up the works and the brain cells can't function. They get damaged and eventually die.
So my brain is being defeated by sticky notes. That's a bleak way to go.
But here's the good part. Researchers used this incredible gene editing tool called CRISPR to figure out what was getting rid of the tau in those resilient cells. They found a protein complex with the very catchy name of CRL5SOCS4.
Rolls right off the tongue. So what does this cereal box 4 thing do?
It basically acts like a quality control manager. It goes around, finds the excess tau protein, the sticky notes, and puts a little molecular tag on them that says, "to the trash." That tag directs the tau to the cell's waste disposal system, where it gets broken down and removed before it can form those harmful clumps.
So in some people, this system is working overtime, and in others, it's not. And they're hoping they can find a way to boost it, to turn everyone's brain garbage disposal up to full power?
That's the hope. It could be the basis for entirely new therapies. Instead of trying to deal with the clumps after they've formed, we could just help the brain take out its own trash more efficiently, preventing the problem from ever starting.
All this talk of cellular waste disposal is making me feel like my brain is a landfill. I need a second to take out the trash. Be right back.
It worked in mice. Worked in mice. That sounds real nice. Sounds real nice. Will it work for you? Let's find out what's true. It worked in mice.
And we're back. Did you manage to clear out some of that mental clutter, Alex? Or did you just find more old, sarcastic thoughts you forgot about?
I found a half-remembered song from the 90s and the plot of a movie I saw once. So no, not very productive. But I'm ready. What else you got?
Well, to continue our theme of brain resilience, this next one is really fascinating. It's about a group of people known as SuperAgers.
SuperAgers? Let me guess, they can fly and have X-ray vision? Is that what they call people who can survive your level of optimism?
Very funny. No, SuperAgers are people who are 80 years old or older but have the cognitive function and memory of someone decades younger. Their minds are still incredibly sharp. Scientists have been studying them for years to figure out their secret.
Sick, they found it? Is it a diet of pure kale and Sudoku?
It's something even more fundamental. A new study found that SuperAgers' brains are still actively growing new neurons. The process is called neurogenesis.
Wait, I thought we were stuck with the brain cells we were born with. That once they're gone for good. That's what they used to tell us anyway.
That old idea has been challenged for a while, and this study adds some really strong evidence. They analyzed brain tissue and found that not only does neurogenesis happen in healthy adults, but SuperAgers do it at a much higher rate than your peers, and even more than people with mild cognitive impairment or Alzheimer's, specifically in the hippocampus, which is the brain's big memory hub.
So their brains are literally renewing themselves. That's actually pretty amazing. It's like their brain's forest is constantly planting new saplings while everyone else's is just getting older.
Exactly. The lead author of the study said the SuperAgers' brains seem to have these unique molecular signals that create a resilience signature, which supports this neuron growth. It's not just that they're avoiding damage, they're actively rebuilding.
So, the million-dollar question: is it just genetic luck, or can the rest of us, normal agers, do something to get in on this?
That's the most hopeful part. This research helps explain why all the lifestyle advice doctors have been giving us for years actually works. It's not just about keeping the brain busy. Things like consistent aerobic exercise, a brain-healthy diet like the Mediterranean diet, lifelong learning, and protecting your sleep are all linked to supporting this process.
You're telling me my brisk walk to the coffee shop might be building new brain cells?
It just might be. One of the neuropsychologists commenting on the study said this shifts the focus from what we lose during aging to what can be preserved and even strengthened. The brain has a capacity for renewal.
Muttering to himself, okay, so maybe I should download one of those language learning apps, or at least finish that crossword puzzle. Sarcastically, does listening to you explain this science count as novel learning? Am I becoming a SuperAger right now?
Laughing warmly. I'd say so. You're definitely expanding your neural networks. Wrapping up, sounding proud. So there you have it. 3 stories that offer a little bit of hope for the future of our health.
Begrudgingly admitting the point. Fine. A clever AI that respects privacy, a potential roadmap for fighting Alzheimer's by taking out the trash, and proof that our brains can be more like a vibrant, regenerating forest than a crumbling old building.
See? There's a lot to be excited about. From a simple hand photo to the complex inner workings of our neurons, science is constantly pushing forward.
Suppose, but I'm still waiting for all this potential to show up in my annual checkup. Sarcastically signing off. Until then, you'll find me on my stationary bike trying to grow a new neuron or two. Thanks for listening to It Worked in Mice.
Sounds real nice. Will it